This is Jonathan Agarfield for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Billy Nelson over Zoom. Billy, how's life? Busy times?
I'm, I'm busy just now, mate. Wouldn't have it any other way, really. But I've been busy and not having any fights at all.
Tell us what you got coming up.
Tomorrow I've got Emmanuel Colombo fighting at Wembley. Next week I've got Luke Bibby fighting in Glasgow. Should have had Sean Lazzarini, but he's unfortunately picked up a wee injury. The week after that I've got Billy Neal looking to remain undefeated in a fight in Scotland. 1st of March, I've got Lewis Crocker fighting a fine eliminator for the world title. Week after that, I've got Luke Bibby fighting for the Scottish. No, 2 weeks after that, Luke Bibby fighting for the Scottish. I'll have Ryan Clark fighting in March as well. And then there'll be a big fight for Richard Riakporhe, which is going to be announced very shortly.
Okay, brilliant. So busy.
Um, in April, and then Martin Bakole in May.
Yeah.
But,
Let's
but
start.
apart from that, it's quite quiet.
That's like half the year already. But let's start with Martin Bakole because he's finally got a fight. It looks like it's May 2nd, I think the date is, but it's not really officially announced the location or anything. But a Jagba, May 2nd. It must be great to see Martin back in the ring because, he's just not been able to build on that win over Jared Anderson yet.
Well, Turkey Al Sheikh met us at the Ring Awards and gave us a concrete three-fight plan, which is something that Martin's never had from anybody. So Turkey Al Sheikh's a man of his word. So his first fight's in May, and the second fight will be later in the year, and the third fight will be early part of next year. All being well, the third fight should theoretically be for the world title.
Hmm. So I heard Martin's interview today on Talk Sport, and he sort of mentioned that if he beats the Jagba, he's looking to get Anthony Joshua in the ring in Africa. Uh, is that what you're hearing as well? We obviously saw them face off as well at the Ring Awards.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest with you, mate, we'll take care of Jagba and cement our mandatory position. And then, see, to be quite honest with you, the biggest commercial fight out there for Anthony Joshua would be Martin Bakole in Africa. They're two titans over there. You don't realise the enormity of Africa, and I know for a fact that the Congolese government will be very, very supportive of His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh and the Riyadh season going there and helping fund the fight. So there's no excuse for Anthony Joshua not to want the fight. It's just we'll just see we'll see where it takes us. But it's a fight that would be absolutely enormous in Kinshasa and in Africa.
Mm.
It'd be like a Rumble in the Jungle too, and we're very very confident we would beat Anthony Joshua anyway. So
So, so
see if
you,
he's as we'll see if he's as confident of beating Martin Bakole.
so you believe that is the most commercially the biggest fight out there for Joshua. Eddie Hearn was asked a couple of weeks ago about, a list of names, and he said Bakole commercially doesn't bring anything to the table, but unless say a site fee in Africa came up with the money, and then that could work. But you obviously disagree with that, right?
Well, of course. Well, let's put it into real terms here. No Eddie Hearn terms. In real terms, Anthony Joshua isn't going to be fighting for the IBF title for a minimum at 18 months. He's not going to fight the winner of Joseph Parker against Daniel Dubois. The only way he could fight the winner of that is if either of them vacate the title. And then Martin would immediately fight for the world title after he takes care of Jagba.
Mm.
Or if they gave up the title within the before that fight, they might make that the full world title. But that's not going to happen. That's just theoretically. Uh, so I don't believe I don't believe there's a bigger fight out there for Martin Bakole. Nobody wants to see, with the fullest of respect, Anthony Joshua versus Dylan White now. Do you? Would you? Who would you rather see, Dylan White versus Anthony Joshua, or Anthony Joshua versus Martin Bakole?
Well, we've seen AJ White, so I'd say Martin Bakole. I'd like to see him get a
Aye.
shot.
Because, with the fullest of respect, it was a one-sided fight, wasn't it? So Bakole against Anthony Joshua in Africa would be massive, and Eddie knows that only too well. But he also knows the risks that go with it. And at this stage of Anthony Joshua's career, he's got to take a gamble. He's got to take a gamble.
Mm. Talk to us about the fight with the Jagba. A lot of people would obviously see Bakole as a big favourite, but what test can the Jagba bring him?
Well, he's got punch power. He's a big heavyweight. Every big heavyweight's got can punch and capable of putting the other one out. If you're not fully focused and on your A game, then he can cause you a bit of problems. But if
Mm.
he if Martin McCall is fully focused and on his A game, FAJ will get stopped and knocked out.
And then we saw, as well, Martin said earlier about the reason he doesn't think the fight with Joshua's happened is because Eddie Hearn was there at the sparring sessions and he said he shook Joshua basically. So, obviously you were there. How were they competitive spars? Were they one-sided?
No, no, they're very competitive spars. All of them. They brought. Listen, see. Ultimately, all the sparring partners that were there basically weren't used because the quality was Martin and Anthony Joshua. So they were doing the like 80% of rounds together, and the sparring partners were occasionally getting put in for 2 rounds here and there because the work was so good between the two of them. They brought each other on because Martin was down there not only sparring Anthony Joshua but preparing for fights as well. So he got the best, but both of them got the best of both worlds. They get quality work and great preparation for both their fights.
When you go back to America for this fight with the Jagba, are you expecting a pretty good reception in America for Martin? Because, he beat the number one American heavyweight last time out. So that surely comes with, the respect of the American fans.
I think it was the same when we went to Poland when we beat Mariusz Wach after our defeat with Michael Hunter. We knocked out Mariusz Wach, and then when we went to fought Shevchenitsky, he got a fantastic welcome. So he did. But in America, yes, he beat Anderson, beat him well. But let me tell you something, that Anderson's a very, very good fighter, mate. He's a very, very good fighter, and he'll come back. If his head's in the right place, he'll win a world title.
Mm. Uh, Talk to us about Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker, the fight's a few weeks away. How do you think it's going to go?
Uh, I think it's a good fight. Daniel's obviously coming off with some good wins, as is Joe. Uh, Joe's more experienced. Daniel's the bigger guy, but Joe's got the speed. So it's a good clash of styles.
Mm. Uh, Talk to me about the big fight coming up in Ireland between Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan. We saw the press conference. Got interesting. What do you make of the fight for Lewis?
It's going to be a very, 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 very good fight. Basically, it's the King of Ireland Championship, isn't it? Who's the King of the Island? So we're gonna find out in the 1st of March. Paddy Donovan going to find out what it's like facing one of the heaviest hitting welterweights in the world. If, I mean, he's so delusional to think that he can punch as hard as, or anywhere near as hard as Crocker, because he's miles off it. If he thinks that, miles off it. Nobody's taking away that he's a skillful fighter. Of course he is, but he's miles off, and he'll never, ever is he gonna be hit like he'll get hit with Crocker.
And obviously it's I believe, a final eliminator for Boots Ennis's IBF
Aye.
title. Do you think uh,
Aye.
do you think Boots will vacate and move up after his Stanionis fight?
I think he will. There's nothing else for me to achieve at welterweight as I move up to light middleweight. I would
Mm,
imagine.
okay, see how that plays out. And talk to us about Richard Riakporhe. Obviously joining yourself. What can you do with Richard at this stage of his career?
Prove him, and I have improved him.
Mm.
Uh, he's very, very happy in the gym, uh, learning all the time. Great willingness to learn. The guy's very, very specific on everything that he does. He records most things that we do, and he studies at home. I wish there was more like him.
And I would assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume he'll have some kind of warm-up fight or something like that next. But what names do you want to see him in the ring with?
You'll find out next week.
But would you like to see
You'll
him in with like the upper tires, etc., etc.?
you'll find out next week.
Okay, well we will.
You'll
Billy.
find it, and you will not, in any way, shape, or form, be disappointed with this fight. Brilliant fight, brilliant fight.
Okay, we'll see. Interesting. Billy, appreciate your time. Good
You're
luck.
welcome.
Very busy
Thank you.
man. So hopefully you get some downtime at some point. But yeah, all the best.
Thank you. All the best.